All right, we're going to work on the application of, like when we use solving by factoring and solving with the calculator. Okay, those are the two ways we know how to solve quadratic equations right now. The first problem says the square of a number is 24 more than 5 times the number. Find the numbers. The first issue we have is we have to figure out how we're supposed to write it. Okay? First off, it says the square of a number. Do we know what the number is? No, that's what we're trying to find. So that's telling us that's x. So it's saying the square of a number, x squared, is, so the square of a number is 24. More than means plus 5 times that number, 5x. So I have x squared equals 24 plus 5x. Now, we have this equation now, but do I know how to factor it the way it is? How do I need to write it? In standard form. That means everything is set equal to 0, right? All right, so I'm going to go over here. Now, here's the key. Keep your x squared positive. So some of you guys understand how to move both of these at the same time. I'll do them individually. I'm going to subtract 24 from each side. I get x squared minus 24 equals 5x. The question I get from people is, why did you do the 24 first? Well, it doesn't really matter. I just happen to choose it. The next one, I'm going to move over the 5x. So I'm going to subtract 5x from each side. I get x squared minus 5x minus 24 equals 0. The next question I get is, why did you switch the order? Guys, when we've been factoring, we've always had the x squared, then the x, then the number. Now we're going to go through and we're going to factor this. Okay? Let's see here. I'm trying to move this up. All right, does everybody have this so far? Now to go to factor, step 1 is GCF. Is there a GCF I need to worry about? No. Step 2, I need to slide. You only slide if there's a number right here. Is there a number besides 1? Nope, I don't even have to do that. Whoop, whoop, good deal. All I have to do is go straight to factoring. So I'm going to factor. Now, x squared splits up as x and x. What do I need the factors of? What number? Negative 24. So let me pull out my handy dandy calculator. Do they even have Blue's Clues anymore? Okay. Didn't know if I was just, actually it wasn't my time. I'm not, okay, I'm old because that was my kid's stuff, whatever. All right. Because we've been doing a lot of things with the calculator, make sure you clear your memory. And now I'm going to go into y equals. Remember, I want to put negative 24 divided by x in y1. Then I'm going to put negative 24 divided by x plus x. Because now when I go into my table second graph, y1, x and y1 are my factors. y2 is telling me my middle number right here that I need to find. I need to add together to find negative 5. Well, there's negative 5, so my factors are 3 and negative 8. So I have plus 3 and minus 8. This is not my answer. My answer is not negative 8 and positive 3. Please remember that this is factored form. To find your solutions, we have to take x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 8 equals 0. Then when you solve, I subtract 3 from each side. I get x equals negative 3. I add 8 to each side. I get x equals 8. This is one of the ways you can write the solutions. Remember that they also can write it in set notation, which is those squigglies. Okay? Or you can write it as -3, 0, and 8, 0. Now, some of you guys say, well, what if I can figure out that if it's just the x right here, that it's the opposite, meaning that I have a factor of +3, that my solution is -3. Can I just write that without writing this step in the blue? For me, I don't care. If you understand that, that's fine. You just have to be careful if it says 2x + 3. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, write down this one because you want this example so that you can have it to look at it. It says 4 times the square of a number is 36. Find the numbers. So we're going to, first, I want you to write down the problem. Then I want us to try and write the equation. All right, it says 4 times a number of a square. Wait, 4 times the square of a number. Man, let me read some more. Hope y'all do better on the reading EOC than me. Just kidding. Okay. 4 times the square of a number. I don't know what the number is. So it says 4 times the square of a number is 36. Okay, is always equals, guys. Why did I put 36 there? Okay. There's a couple of different ways to do this. Let me show you the easiest way to start with. First, let's get rid of this 4. If I can divide a 4 out of everything, get rid of it. So if I divide by 4, I get x squared equals 9. Okay? Now, if I go and move this over the way we know how to do it by factoring, I subtract 9 from each side. I get x squared minus 9 equals 0. You guys should see that that's a difference of squares. That's a perfect square. So if I split this one up, you can still use the same steps I do for factoring. But how does x squared split up? X and x. Minus 9. I need the factors of -9 that add up together to give me what? If there's no x term, there's no middle term, that means you're looking for them to be 0. So you're going to have +3 and -3. Please remember, this is factored form. Now, to find my solution, my numbers, well, if you look at this, it's going to be, I'll write it in set notation, -3 and +3. Ms. Crawford, you said that they're not the exact numbers in there. They're not. If I set this, oops, if I set those equal to 0, x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, it's still going to give me +3 and -3. How about I write a 3, not a 2? Okay. All right, try the next one. All right, here we go. This one, I'm trying to see, you know what, actually, for those of you in class, you probably want to write this down so that you have this example because it goes along with your, unless you can pay attention to what we're doing, because it goes along with the assignment that you guys have with it. Do you want me to wait a second? Okay. All right, on number 1, the first thing it says is the length of a rectangle is 3 times its width. The area of the rectangle is 48 centimeters, square centimeters. Okay, first off, it says the length. L is 3 times the width. Okay? We don't know what the width is. The width is just W. Okay? It says the area of the rectangle is 48. Let me ask you a question. What is the area of a rectangle? What's the formula? Length times width. Okay. So the length is 3W. See, I need to have the same variable. So what I'm going to do, instead of L, I'm going to use 3W, so that's L, times W, and that equals 48. So this is going to be our equation. 3W times W, so I'm going to write it on the next one. So 3W times W equals 48. What that was length times width is 48. But I need to have the same letter. So since we know that L is 3W, it's kind of like using substitution. Okay? So now, what is 3W times W? 3W squared equals 48. Now, I told you the easiest thing to do on these, let's divide out the 3. Let's get rid of that. So I'm going to divide by 3. W squared equals 16. So now we just do the same thing. Subtract 16 from each side. I'll move it up here. W squared minus 16 equals 0. When I go to factor this, because again, it's the difference of squares, W and W, how does 16 split up evenly? 4. So I have plus 4 and minus 4. Remember, those are my factors. My solutions, when you set them equal to 0, you get negative 4 and 4. Okay? Here's what happens in these word problems. What are these numbers representing? The what? What's the problem asking for? The what? The width. Which one of those two numbers can width not be? Can't be negative 4, so the width can't be negative 4. Okay? So I have my length, sorry, I lied. My width is 4. What's my length? Right here. Length is 12 because it's 3 times 4. So the length is 12. But when you do these word problems and you're talking about length and width, you get rid of that, or height, you have to get rid of the negative number. Okay, let's look at where to go. Going backwards. Let's pull this down here. The next one. This one says Dominic's kitchen is 6 feet longer than it is wide. The area of the kitchen is 72 square feet. All right. So this is the length. The length of the kitchen is 6 feet longer. Be careful. That means plus how wide it is. Is that blue even showing up very well? Okay. On my screen it is, but not on the... All right. The length is 6 feet longer than it is wide. We don't know the width. The width we're just using is W. So now it says, what is the area? Remember, area is length times width. I'm going to take my width times my length right here. But look, there's a plus in there, so I'm going to have 6 plus W. And that equals 72. So there's my equation. All right, let me write it on the next board. W times 6 plus W equals 72. All right, to solve this, there's 2 ways you can do this. Let me show you the quick way. Here's one way. Go to your calculator. Put the left-hand side right here into Y1. So if I go over here, I'm going to put in there, not W, but X, and 6 plus X. Okay? Second graph. We're talking about width, right? The only type of numbers we can have are positive numbers. Look and see in the y, look for 72. Look for 72. You found it? Where'd you find it? 6. That means that the width is 6. Now, what's the length? Length's not 72. What did we say in the equation right here? Length is, the length is 6 plus W, right? Wasn't this part the length? So not 36. It's got to be 12. You're adding them together. Now, here's how you double check that. When you come up with these two numbers, when you take length times width, that's supposed to equal the area. 72 is the area. So if you take 12 times 6, does that give you 72? It should. All right, let's try another one. This one in my class, you don't have to worry about writing it down. This is the last one on here. Let's just do this. I want you to try and do this one if you can. Oh, yeah, the green's easier to read. All right. This one says the square of a number is decreased by 15. All right. The square of a number. So x squared is decreased by 15. So is decreased by 15. This value, so this value right here, x squared minus 15, is twice the original number. That one's trickier. This is why I'm going to work on Wednesdays for tutorials. We're going to work on writing the equations from a word problem and just doing the basic things like that. So now from here, so let's subtract 2x from each side. I get x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Now, does this one say anything about length and width? It doesn't. It just says numbers, right? Those numbers can be positive and negative, guys. So now when I go to factor, I split up x squared as x and x. I need the factors of negative 15 that add up to give me what? They need to add to give me negative 2. When you look those up, you're going to get negative 5 and positive 3. So I have x minus 5 and x plus 3. My solution, I'll pull this out so you can see it. My solution should be positive 5 and negative 3. You can either factor it like this, or you can put this thing right here, put x squared minus 2x minus 15 into the calculator, and look and see where your y's are 0. Kind of how we did up at the one above with 72. All right, so let's see. What do we have here? Nope. Okay. Let me pull up this other one, the first one that you guys have on your assignment. Maybe not the first one. I'll be nice and do one of the other ones. So take your paper, flip it over. Come on, machine. There we go. Which one do we want to do? Ener, meaners, minors, most. All right, this looks like it's a lot of words. You guys would look at this problem and go, "Oh, I don't want to do this one." Okay, number 5 says the length of Michael's rectangular vegetable garden is 3 times the width. Okay, so my length is 3 times the width. Michael decides to increase the length by 2 feet and increase the width by 1 foot. He used the expression 3x squared plus 5x plus 2 to represent the new area. If the area of the enlarged garden is 102, what is the length of the enlarged garden? Okay. It already, actually, I went to go write that equation up there. I don't even need that. Didn't it already give me the equation? It says the area, this is the expression for the area that I circled. So I have 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. This is the expression for the area. What does it say the area equals? 102. It gives you the expression. It gives you the number, the area. Now, we could go through and what you would do is set it equal to 0 and we could factor it. But why do that? Go in your calculator right now and put this, what I've underlined, into Y1. Wrong button. Okay, so I'm going to go in there and put 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now I'm going to press second graph. I'm looking to find 102. One of my answers says what? 5. Is there a 5 up there for an answer? There is a 5 for the answer. If you look at 6, that's not the answer. It doesn't say that. If you continue up to 15 and 17, does it have 102? Nope. So your answer is 5. Use the calculator and your answer choices to be able to answer these word problems.